Okay, so today we have garbage disposal replacement. So let's go over a few things first. We've got the garbage disposal, the old one. Got a new one sitting here. I'm not going to tell you what brand to get, but this one here, you can't really see it very well, but it's leaking right under here. So let's go over a few things first. Obviously, dishwasher connects in here. This is where a sink ties in together. Back that light out a little bit, we can see better. Ties into the drain, what we call a dishwasher tailpiece. If you don't know it or not, there's actually a baffle in here. There's a vertical tube so that all your waste coming from the disposal gets routed down, and then all this waste coming from the sink above comes down on this side. Now that's great until somebody tries to run a bunch of stuff down this side, because you're only half the size of the tube, and stops up. At that point, get one of these bad boys and run it down from the top. You're going to run it down on that side. A lot easier. You don't have to take anything apart. It'll get that going again. Okay. You notice this trap's a little deeper than typical, and the reason for that is this is a 60s Rancher, and they rough this in at such a height. It's the same height as the disposal, and so I can't get the trap high enough then to make that drain. We want this, obviously we want the disposal to drain out. We don't want this setting full of water, because it'll rust out the bottom of the cavity, or bottom of the plate there where the impeller sits. So just a couple things about that. It goes to ABS back in the wall, which, you know, that's all fine and dandy. It's a different animal. This is a typical sink, you know. You wonder what you pay plumbers for sometimes. Women, I don't know why we keep all these flower vases, but they end up under the sinks. Just throw them away. So anyways, a few things we got to do first is look at the electric, which they're using a switch here to run it. So it's a direct wire. It's a direct tie-in right to the bottom of the disposal. You'll be okay as long as you don't hit the switch. If you're worried about it, go kill the breaker. There is an outlet back here, and this is for the dishwasher. So that qualifies as a disconnect for the dishwasher, which is just on the other side of the cabinet here. Again, that drain line's coming in for the dishwasher. They've got it strapped up on the wall, which you want to go a little bit higher, as high as you can, than the disposal, and that gives you an air gap or a way of breaking that suction on the dishwasher. So just one of those code things that we like to do. But let me get into this a little bit more, and get repositioned. I'll show you how we're going to take this bad boy down and get going on it. Okay, so I'm down under the disposal here. First thing I want to do is take this drain off of here. Again, this tailpiece is coming over from the T over here. You can wear gloves if you want. I don't. It's just from the sink. Nothing special. Something in here, it looks like. Okay, so I don't know if you can see it or not, but somebody's put pipe dope on these threads here, and that should have come off a lot easier. And a friction ring right here. So, yeah, not quite what we were wanting to see. Little country engineering. Get the other side broke loose. We'll get that piece of tube out of there. I gotta get my drain line disconnected first. So on these slip joint fittings, they do not seal at the thread. What seals is the beveled nylon washer that goes into the fitting. A lot of people, there's a misconception there that it's the threads that hold water, but it's not. It's this little friction ring, and so people throw a lot of dope on the threads, thinking that's going to help it, and that's not the baby. All right, let's take off our dishwasher 5/16 nut driver. You are probably going to have some water in there. Just be aware. Be prepared. I guess you could have used a vase if you wanted to, but okay, we're going to stick that back out of our way. So you just got to remember, that you've got a dishwasher that was at one time connected to the disposal, because that's important. We'll have to knock out the plug inside there when before we put the new one on. Okay, so now this ring up here, it just rotates backwards. There's a little ear up here on top that holds it up, but this slot is for the tool. That tool that they provide you with, and if you don't have the old one, use the new one. They put one in every disposal. Let's see if he'll turn. Okay, good. He turned. Okay, so you can see my hands underneath it to hold up on that. It's going to be a little stiff because it's been up there for so long. And we'll pull them out. Getting a little bit of water out of that drain. There we go. And you may want to, if you don't have the forearms of a gorilla, you may want to get something to support that. Okay, so I'm trying to get this around here. So this is where we're leaking at. It's right down through here, and this is a seam in this disposal right here in the chamber, in the grinding chamber. This is just pot metal, people. This isn't stainless inside here, and if you pay for stainless, you're paying for something that's just going to rust out anyways. Disposals or throwaway appliances is what they consider them. You know, the new one going in is going to have a 3-year warranty. Anymore, if you get 5 years out of a disposal, you've done really, really good. But they're going to want to rust right here in this area, and that's typical. They rust from the inside out. You can't really see down in there, but if you did, it's nasty and rusting. But there's a gap right here, in that metal. Stick my screwdriver in it. It has just split, and that's just nature of the beast. It's going to do that. And turn them over, and I want to get that power off of there. So let's see. I'll stop for just a second and get my tools. Okay, so again, I told you that it was a direct wire into the disposal here. We are lacking a strain relief right here, electrical connector that holds that wire into the disposal. That's not good. Phillips, I've got a ground wire here. That will get off. Sorry. Where are you at? There we go. Okay, so the ground wire's off. Wire nuts. There's the white. Okay. Push him back, push him back, push him back, and get him out of there. Okay. So, that's that. I'm not going to show you that. Okay. Wiring's disconnected. We're going to move on. Alright. Got him in the dumpster. So, I've got three studs under here to take out. I really like this brand because it's easier to hang these. It's easier to put this drain in, and it's pretty good little disposal. It's just a little half horse. Yeah, half horse disposal. You know, and it just depends. You know, they got bigger. You know, disposals than that. Third horse, which is less, I guess. And then they got 3/4. You know, and people are like, oh, what do I take? You know, which one should I get? You know, and it all depends on how much you use it a week. You know, if you're using it once or twice a week, this one here, this little half horse, will be fine. If you're using it every day, you know, if you're just grinding, you're going to need a higher horse. It's a better disposal. Okay, so I've loosened up these 3 bolts, these 3 studs, and now I get to this little snap ring right here. And it's real easy to come off. And it is all that holds that disposal up there. Now, if you bought a disposal, or if you're getting a disposal put in, and you know the guy's like, "Oh, we don't need to switch out that throat," that thing's perfectly fine. They give you a new one, put it in, and the reason for it is exactly what I've got right here. You see how this putty here is dry, and that putty will eventually fail. So go ahead and put new putty in while you're there. It's a whole lot easier to do it now than have to come back and take the disposal down again and do it all over again. Okay, so throat from above, he's good to go. Pieces and parts. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go up above, and there's some of that old putty. There's some of that old putty up here. I'm gonna scrape it out with my screwdriver or my putty knife, and get a towel and clean that on the inside. You know, get that all good and dry up there, and I'll show you from the top side what we're going to do after that. Okay, real quick while we're here. All right, so I've Got the new throat here. As you can see, this has a bevel to it. It has an angle to it. And it's designed so that when it's on the sink and you go to put your disposal on, that ring will ride up that bevel. And as it does, it draws that disposal to the bottom of the throat here, to the bottom of that drain, and creates a tight seal. Now what we want is that tab that's here needs to be able to follow that path all the way along, and there's another little notch right here. That tab kind of jumps over that notch and locks on there so it can't vibrate loose. This is my drain hole here. Just going to take the hammer, screwdriver, hit it in about 3 different places and knock that little plug out. Don't forget to get down in there and get it out of there. It's a little easier now before you hang up the disposal. Alright, getting ready to put this in. There's a snap ring. Basically what I got to do now is I'll putty this up, stick it down through the sink, and then I've got to put this on from down below. Now that sounds easy except for this little thing right here. And what I've got to do is from down below, you see how I'm putting on the opposite side from that split? I'm putting it on, pushing it up, pushing and pushing and getting that to snap on there and snap on there. Once I have that, then that stays on there. So that's what we got to do next. Buddy. I don't care if it sticks out, that's not a big issue. I just want to have that on that flare of this. And it's got the label on there. Some people don't care about how they put it in there. I do. Things like that will show you care. So again, now I've got to try to get this up under there. You can see that. Where's my split? Splits to the back. Okay, now the triangle part. What I like to do is have one of these studs in towards the back and keep the other two to the front. That's a screwdriver. They used to have square heads on these. Those were wonderful because you could use a 12-point socket on it. And you can really dog them down. Here it's made for a Phillips or flat. I still use a flat because it seems like I can get more torque off a flat than I can off of Phillips. I want to tighten him down real good. There's a lot of vibration that goes on. You don't want it working loose. There we go. Okay, now. So again, that little tab right here by this. And it doesn't matter how this disposal is facing right now. What you got to do is hold up on that ring. Now, you see I just got it started. I want to feel for the tab and see if it's on top of that flange here. So feel for the tab. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so hold on to that, and you can turn this yet until you tighten this down, until you dog it all the way up there. You still have some flexibility out of this. I've got the hole punched in here ready for my disposal, and now I'm going to get this tailpiece connected back again. Okay, so I had to get a flange tailpiece, and it's actually the same thing as what the is in the disposal, the elbow in the disposal. So I want to put on that bracket first, put on my nut and friction ring. I'm going to slide it in to here, and this will be where that helps, having that disposal loose a little bit. Okay. Put my rubber washer in. Let's just turn him. Come on, baby. All right, let's start with this side. They don't want to go too easy, do they? Okay, he's threatening. It's right there. Come on. Now I do wish these were something a little different. Okay. This nut. Sorry that it took so long. I'll try to speed it up. And our hose. Great. Okay, so what's the last thing left to do? What do we need to do before we go any further? We got to tighten up this ring. All right, get ready. Right here, I'm right there at the end. I'm going to squeeze. Tighten him up a little bit. There. Do you see that last little bit? Then it popped in. So now it is locked on there. This is locked underneath. Everything's tight. It's drawn up tight to that. I've got my cord. But now I'm going to test for leaks.